Lexus today. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois. Through it all. AT&T Uverse. Find out what's possible with AT&T. Call 1-800-PIC-ATT. Mobilizing your world. And by Ford. Check out America's freshest lineup at your local Ford store or at localfordstores.com.
Welcome back to beautiful Target Field, where the rain has stopped and baseball is about ready to begin. And let's take a look at what separates these two teams, not only in the standings, but for the seasonal play. The record, as you can see, 6 under for the Twins, 2 under for our Sox. The batting average, our ball club a little bit better. Runs per game almost identical. Home runs very tilted to the Sox side, and ERA again almost identical. So not a whole lot of difference between the two teams. And the Twins, after being swept in Boston, look for some redemption. And our Sox coming off a big 2-game sweep of the San Francisco Giants. So the Royals in first place. They lost today to the Tigers. That lead just a half game. The Indians with a walk-off homer from Nick Swisher, 2.5 games back. Our Sox 4, the Twins 6, as the Twins take the field. Let's take a look at how Robin's going to line up our Sox tonight. It's going to be Adam Eaton leading it off with Gordon Beckham in the 2 spot playing second. Then Connor Gillespie at third. Jose Abreu at first. Adam Dunn, the designated hitter, with Alexi Ramirez at short. Dayan Viciedo in right. Alejandro Diaz in left. And Tyler Flowers behind the plate. The defensive setup and how they'll line up behind Johan Pino. It's Josh Willingham, Sam Fuld, and Chris Parmalee in the outfield, with Eduardo Escobar, Danny Santana, Brian Dozier, and Joe Mauer in the infield. Kurt Suzuki behind the plate, and our Lexus pursuing perfection starting pitcher is Johan Pino, who was brilliant in AAA this year. This guy was in his 11th year in the minor leagues without ever getting a sniff in the major leagues. But here he is, giving up just 41 hits in 61 innings. Fastball will top out around 90. He does have a good curveball, and he really has to hit his spots to be successful. The umpires for the game tonight: Mike Muchlinski behind the plate, Mark Wegner, the crew chief, at first, Andy Fletcher is at second, and Chris Siegel is at third. And so, with the rains departed, and Robin looking at his ball club, hoping that they can win 3 in a row, we're ready to play baseball. I'm ready to turn it over to my play-by-play partner, Ken Harrelson.
Hi, Stevie. Thank you. And once again, good evening, everyone, and welcome to White Sox baseball right here on Comcast Sportsnet. So happy you could join us for the first of this 4-game set and the first of this 11-game road trip. 4 here, 3 in Baltimore, and 4 in Toronto. And before we show you our picks to click, you at home select yours. As Adam Eaton, and the first pitch of his major league career by Johan Pino, just taken for a strike. Adam hitting at 272, a homer he's driven in 20. There's a curveball.
Pino was with the Twins, and then they decided to trade him, and they got Carl Pavano from the Cleveland Indians, which turned out to be a very good trade for the Twins. And now Pino, as you can see, is back and finally getting his shot.
That pitch is out of play. Sox come in hitting at 257 as a club, with a 4.35 team ERA. Drives hit the inside corner.
Sam Fuld is a very good center fielder with good range. They don't have great range on the corners in Willingham and Parmalee.
Got him on a hook.
Second curveball, the at bat. And he will always remember his first major league hitter and the fact that Adam Eaton went down on strikes.
So here's Beckham. Gordon at 277, 5 homers and 17 knocked in. Well, you have to remember one thing: the guy in the minor leagues, whether it be AAA, AA, wherever, if he's a breaking ball pitcher and he can get a curveball over, he's going to win.
Well, he was a winner this year at 9-1, and in 7 starts in AAA, he didn't allow a base runner in the first inning. That's pretty amazing. 21 hitters, 7 starts, nobody reached base.
Jacks it up. He did not go. And this is the 4th meeting in the year between these two clubs. In the first 3, our guys won 2 of them. Pretty good rip at that one and fouls it back.
This middle infield is very good. Twins believe that Santana is going to be their shortstop for a long time, and Dozier has really taken control at second base.
So he strikes out the first 2. And with 2 out, let's check out our picks to click tonight. Jim and Joe, our director and crew, they went with Alexei. Steve's going with Adam Dunn. And Tommy Sheridan, Rich Kuchar, Lindsey Jordan, Sam Lawson, Jeff Bogacki, John Mojalewski, Rob Boaz, and I. We're going to go with Adam Eaton. Here's Gillespie at 337. No homers. He's driven in 23. Pino, 6'2", 190 pounds, out of Aragua, Venezuela. "27 games over in his minor league career."
A pretty good pitch there, and that's probably emptying the tank at 90 miles an hour, and he didn't get the call. Our Menard's pitch tracks will show you that probably had a piece.
Ball hit. Dozier down. Up with it. And a quick 1-2-3 inning with a couple of strikeouts for Johan Pino.
Danny Santana leading it off with Brian Dozier. Then it's Joe Mauer. Then Willingham, Morales, and Suzuki in the middle with Parmalee, Escobar, and Sam Fold rounding it out. The defense and how they'll line up behind Jose Quintana. It's Diaz, Eaton, and Viciedo in the outfield with Gillespie, Ramirez, Beckham, and Abreu in the infield. Tyler Flowers behind the plate tonight. And our Lexus pursuing perfection starting pitcher is Jose Quintana. On for his 15th start, looking for his 4th win. His ERA a touch below 4. There you look at the rest of the numbers, and left-handers hitting him a touch better than right-handers.
Switch hitting shortstop Danny Santana, 23 years old.
Better hitter from the right side, and they love this guy.
Hitting at .333, a couple of homers, 15 knocked in, takes first pitch strike. Minnesota comes in hitting at .243 as a team with a 4.32 team ERA. Minnesota 32 and 38. And count 0 and 2. They're 15 and 17 here at Target Field, 17 and 21 on the road. Santana in his minor league career, .274 hit.
He was not with the ball club when we saw them last, and we saw them first series of the year. And this is our first look at him since the 3rd of April.
Here you go.
He set him up with a good slider low and in that he fouled off, and then he went with a fastball. It was out away off the plate and got the youngster to chase.
Here's Brian Dozier hitting at .234, but he has 15 homers and 35 RBIs.
And for a while, the Twins could not find a position for him. Then he took over every day at second base, and he's gotten better and better. He has faced Quintana 17 times, as you can see. Not a whole lot of luck with him.
And here at Target Field, 339 down the left field line, 328 down the right field line, 365 in right center, 377 in left center, 403 dead away center, with 411 in that little corner right out there underneath the scoreboard, and deep left center. That's a high pop up and a souvenir time.
Not a whole lot of room in foul territory here at Target Field, so the hitters certainly like that. Last year, Dozier getting a chance to play every day, hit 18 home runs, 66 driven in. So as you can see, he's really maturing as a hitter, and he's gotten probably 100% better as a second baseman. He made a good play to end that first inning.
Two balls, two strikes. Good pitch. And on the fist. First of 4 here in Minneapolis.
Weather is supposed to be gorgeous tomorrow. Pretty decent on Sunday. And we'll have to see with Saturday.
Well, this is unusual for us. As a rule, we normally are in here very early in the season. And here it is, June 19th, making our first trip in.
They've had an inordinate amount of rain here in Minneapolis.
And there's the walk. So that'll bring up Mauer, who has hit Quintana very hard. 15 at bats, 7 hits, 2 homers.
Joe has really struggled this year. Those are not Mauer-like numbers. In fact, amazingly, he's only had 2 runs batted in on the road. And they've played 38 games on the road.
Dozier, good lead. I talked to several when people before the game said, "What's wrong with him?" And they both said, "Don't know. He just doesn't look like Joe Mauer."
No, when you look at 16 driven in all year, fairly amazing. I mean, he had a good year last year, average wise, as he always does. You're talking about hitting .324, but he only drove in 47 runs. And so with that move to first base, he becomes a minus offensive first baseman, where he was a huge plus offensive catcher.
Well, there has been some speculation that he ought to go back behind the plate.
He really loved it, but he was having a concussion problem, getting a few too many.
Well, meanwhile, he was hitting .323 lifetime.
There's no doubt that swinging the bat was not the problem.
So you never. This game is nobody knows this game. There are just some people who've been around it a long time and seen maybe a little bit more than others. But even people who've been around it as long as we have don't know the game. You watch it and you can't figure it out. Why is a .323 hitter not being a .323 career hitter? There's that ball is hit hard. Rack him up, and that'll retire the side after 1, no score.
Miller time later in the game, brought to you by Miller Lite.
And Sox fans celebrate Christmas in July at the ballpark on Monday, July 21st. Now, the first 1,000 fans to purchase tickets will receive a White Sox ugly Christmas t-shirt. Also, there will be snow cone carts with red and green snow cones for the kids. Tickets start at $15 for lower level seats. So purchase tickets whitesox.com/Xmas. Breaking ball strike to Abreu. Well, you know, getting back to that, though, that's why this is, to me, just a fascinating game. It's the best game ever invented because of the fact that the layout, the variables that come with it. The only thing that when you've been in the game a long time that you might have some maybe better theories or conjectures, so to speak, than other people. But nobody knows this game, and anybody tells you they do, they're either egotistical or they're lying.
It doesn't matter what the problem rises, whether it be a slump or a pitcher falling into a situation where he can't get the ball over the plate. If there were easy answers, some pretty good coaches would quickly figure it out and you wouldn't be in a slump anymore. And yet, just as they talk about a cold, you go in a slump, you can do anything you want to fix it. About 10 days or so later, you come out of it. especially if you're a good player. Same thing with a pitcher.
As a Brady, you can't get it. Well, I think as far as a hitter goes, the best advice I ever heard anybody give was from Al Kaline, the Hall of Fame right fielder for the Detroit Tigers. And he said everybody's always looking to do what they did in the past when they go into a slump. He said the best thing you can do is forget about what you did in the past and go back to the ABCs, the fundamentals of hitting. Right-handed hitter hitting the ball over the second line drives over the second baseman's head. Left-hander, so you get to see the ball again. You get to see the ball again. Don't try to outdumb yourself by tweaking in as he gets him. So that's 3 strikeouts for Johan Pino.
He changed eye levels on that one because he stayed waist down the entire at bat and then went face high fastball to wipe him out.
Well, here's a guy right here, 11 years in the minor leagues, making his major league debut at 30 years old, 175 days, and he strikes out 3 of the first 4 major league hitters he sees. That's why you can't write people off.
As long as you're healthy. If you're healthy and get the ball over the plate, you're going to find a job. Now, it might not be in the major leagues, but you then become an insurance policy for a team that has injuries.
Adam high pop up. Dozier. I learned a long time ago you just can't write people off quickly, nor can you make them a superstar quickly.
Well, take a look around at a lot of the guys having great years in both leagues. And you'll find many guys on their 3rd or 4th team. Now, they came up with great hopes with the team they originally signed with, and they thought they could play. Obviously, they wouldn't have signed them, and some are really high draft picks, and yet it takes guys a while to discover whatever magic it is that they will discover. And so they become stars maybe on their 3rd, maybe on their 4th team.
Boy, that is so true, Steve. You know, we've talked about it, that age, that window there of 26, 27, 28 for guys who've been in the league for a few years. That's usually when they either find it or they don't find it. One of the two in that window, that 3-year window there.
But a lot of teams don't. You just don't have the patience. And you're a contender. You can't take time with a guy that's struggling, so you send them down. Eventually, they run out of options, and then.
Well, especially right-handed pitchers. Left-handers get a little better look.
Yeah.
A little longer look.
Yeah, they will.
Yeah, sure they will.
There are many fewer left-handers, so the team, if you get the ball over the plate and you're not hurt, the team's going to keep you around for a while.
Alexei hitting at .309, 7 homers, 36 knocked in. This is such a mental game, such a head game, all between the ears. Well, whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you're right either way. There's a shot. Base hit. Cancel the post-game show on Mr. Pino as here's the throw in. So Alexei picks up number 10. 2-bagger number 10.
This is a pretty good pitch. He keeps it down. But it's a fastball that's fairly straight at 89 miles an hour. And Alexei able to keep it inside the line. So runner in scoring position.
That'll bring up Tank at 248, 6 homers, 23 knocked in.
Joe McEwing is going to run on all of these outfielders for a couple different reasons. One, the arms aren't overwhelming, and 2, they're picking up a wet baseball because there was a lot of rain, and even though the drainage is good, the top level of the outfield is still wet.
That's a little soft pop up. Dozier's got it, and that'll retire the side. So we do get our first hit after an inning and a half, no score.
For game 2, and the Sox are trying to raise up in the standings and get themselves in good position in the AL Central. So it's White Sox Twins tomorrow at 7 on Comcast Sportsnet.
No score, bottom of the second. Willingham, Morales, and Suzuki. 35-year-old veteran Willingham hitting at .258, 5 homers. And 19 knocked in. Talking with a Dutchman, Hall of Famer Bert Blyleven before the game, talking about how they only gave up in 3 games in Boston. They only gave up, the Twins only gave up 5 runs. They got swept. Boy, that's amazing. You give up 5 runs total, you got to win at least 2 out of the 3.
Parmalee hit a home run in the 10th inning of the game yesterday, and had the game ended there at 1-0. It'd been the lowest scoring series in Boston history. The lowest scoring that they swept in Boston history. But then they came with back-to-back home runs because Glenn Perkins has a bad back, and they tried to close with Casey Fiend, and he showed them why they closed with Glenn Perkins.
There's a strike. Well, that's amazing. I mean, I'm glad you said it was. It would have been in history because I've never heard of it. I mean, holding the Red Sox to 5 runs at Fenway Park in 3-game series and getting swept.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah, it is. That's way back and way out of here. Boy, he just owns. Willingham owns Quintana. He is now 9 for 16 with 3 homers.
That was a towering blast to left field, his 6th of the year. He's now driven in 20. A Ford home run replay. Tyler Flowers wants it inside, and unfortunately Jose gets it up and out over the plate. And this is a blast.
Now some guys you just cannot pick up, and you're going to go for 4. Other guys, you see the ball and it looks so good, so big, and so slow. Well, another thing was, no definitives in this game.
And there's no rhyme or reason because there's a lot of right-handers that cannot pick up Jose Quintana.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Willingham not one of them.
Kendry Morales was a big offensive pickup for this ball club. Hadn't shown it yet, but hitting at .243 and just a few at bats.
Well, he had a very tough series. He was doing pretty well and then had a tough series. He went 0 for Boston. So this is a guy from both sides of the plate, can really do it. They waited so that they could sign him without giving up a #1 draft choice. They did sign him, and they view him as being one of the leaders for some of their younger Latin players.
He's only had 37 at bats.
There's no doubt he can hit.
Oh, yes,
and he will hit.
He's a good offensive pickup for the squad.
And they really said that the press conference where they announced signing him, they talked about the fact that it will take a while because of how long he sat before he gets back to what he was.
There you go. 1 out.
A fastball at the knees, and he rings him up. This is a guy that's been amazing for him because they got him as a defensive specialist. Look what he's doing.
He got 30 RBIs. And some big RBIs. In fact, he's been one of the best clutch hitters on this ball club.
I always felt when he was with Oakland all those years that you could get him out, except when they needed a big base hit. This was a guy you didn't want to face.
Well, you had to think that way because he beat us. He got the biggest base hits of anybody on that ball club against us. Going to the count. He's a .303 career hitter against us, and if you'd asked me, I'd have probably said more than that. But it's not what he hits, it's when he hit it. Just defending the plate against that pitch. That's too bad about Gavin Floyd, in case you did not hear, suffered a broken right elbow. Had a shutout going, I believe, into the 7th inning.
Yeah, he won the ball game. His ERA was in the 2.6 range, and now he's lost, obviously, for the rest of the year.
That ball hit hard but foul.
Chris Parmelee in the on deck circle. He's a guy that hit what appeared to be the winning home run in Boston, only to see back-to-back homers.
Close. Didn't get it. And that is back into the seats for a souvenir.
Suzuki struck out 18 times in 197 at bats. That is a very low total.
And that's another souvenir. Another thing that impresses you about Suzuki is just how he handles the game. He's got a nice presence behind that plate.
Well, they got him here to work with Josmil Pinto, who they thought would be their everyday guy after hitting .342 last year. But didn't work out for him to this point. And Suzuki has taken over.
That ball hit into the gap. Nobody's going to get it. So he fouls off several pitches where he finds one he can hit. That's what you call defending that plate. Picks up his 13th two-bagger.
That was a 10-pitch at bat, and he finally got one down in the zone that he could handle and drives it in the gap. So a terrific at bat by Suzuki. Winds up going the Twins' way.
Here's Chris Parmelee. 205, 4 homers, 9 knocked in. It all goes back as far as slumps go to me. In my observations over 55 years in this game, when guys are not swinging the bat, they work on mechanics, work on their swing, because they're not getting base hits. And the only thing they're doing, in my opinion, is exacerbating the problem. They should be working on approach and how they're going to approach this particular pitcher and how they're going to approach his best fastball. Because if you notice, and you were a pitcher and a good one, when you know a guy can't cover your fastball, that's pretty good feeling.
Well, I didn't know there were too many of those, because I wasn't going to give him anything to hit to test it out. Because the fastball was not awfully fast, and I used it as a show me pitch. I used it at, okay, I've got one of these, I will show it to you, but you're going to hit the curveball or the slider.
Yep. They work on. Oh, nice pick by Alexei.
That ball headed for center field. No chance on the pickoff. Good idea to use a pickoff. But Ramirez does a nice job of making sure that Suzuki doesn't wind up at third.
Beautiful pick right there by Ramirez. He gone. 2 down.
Parmelee really struggling this year. Jose throws a fastball right by him.
Think back last year and the year before when we saw him limited time. You couldn't throw a fastball by him.
Now he's now 0 for 18 with runners in scoring position. That's a stat that the organization will look at.
So where does that put him? That puts him right in the middle, in between.
Yeah.
And when you're in between, you can't cover a fastball. There's only one way to cover a fastball. You got to be looking for it. You just don't react and cover major league fastballs. Here's a guy that's been doing a fine job for him. One of our favorites, Eduardo Escobar. Hitting at 303.
They absolutely love him.
Why not? We did too.
He can play everywhere. A little better hitter from the right side than the left. And he's done a great job at third base for him, especially with Trevor Plouffe now disabled.
Breaking ball. They love the way he comes to the ballpark every day with that smile on his face and the energy he brings each and every day.
Well, the one thing you can't do is make a mistake with him here, because you got left-hand hitting Sam Fold hitting .219 in the on-deck circle. And Escobar can hurt you.
He gone. And that'll retire the side, but not before. Josh Willingham, a bomb out of here, and they lead it 1-0.
Stretch are now open at Water Tower Place. The museum combines high-tech interactive experiences with an impressive collection of game-used treasures. Come challenge yourself or your friends. Remember, that's the Chicago Sports Museum and Harry Carey's 7th inning stretch in Water Tower.
It'll be Diaz, Flowers, and Eaton. Here in the top of the 3rd inning, they lead it 1-0. Pitch off the plate. Change up.
Formerly fairly deep in right field.
You know, one of the greatest hitting coaches certainly in the last 50 years and possibly of all time in baseball. All you youngsters out there was a guy named Charlie Lau. And we had him here with the White Sox for a while. I played with Charlie. He was a 3rd string catcher at Kansas City and then became a coach my 2nd year in the league. And 90% of what first of all, his biggest asset was his demeanor. That was his biggest asset. He was a great listener. You would tell him what you thought. He would listen to what you had to say, not say a word. And he had that personality that hitters gravitated to him, which is very good rather than having a hitting coach that's got to go get guys, so to speak. 90% of what he taught was approach. Everybody thinks he was mechanical. Everybody thinks, well, all he taught was mechanics. That is so wrong, it's unbelievable. 90% of what Charlie Lau taught was approach. That's outside.
Was he responsible for the George Brett School of Hitting?
Well, yeah. George was going to be a hitter anyway. Everybody knows that. But George will tell you that Charlie really helped him. Yep. He put him on a good thought process. And when I was a rookie, Charlie would tell me, there's a base hit into left field. That a boy. That a way to start right here. Alejandro. That'll bring up Tyler Flowers. But Charlie would tell me, Hawk, this guy, take a guy like a right-hander who used to pitch from Cleveland, Dick Donovan. Big right-hander. Had a good slider.
Came to White Sox also.
Yeah. And he also had a good spitter. And he would tell me, if you get 2 strikes, he's not going to throw you a fastball. He's not going to throw that sinker or that spitter. He's going to throw you a slider. That's what he's going to get you out. And he was right all the time. As Tyler hitting at 247, so he was trying to get you on the right approach. Pitching is a different animal, as you well know. You got to have certain things in your mechanics as a pitcher.
You better have the same release point or close to it.
Yeah.
Except for the occasional guy who will dip down for one pitch sidearm. Suzuki doesn't have the strongest arm around, but he gets rid of the ball quickly.
Got great footwork.
Yep.
Just a decent lead by Alejandro. And that ball yanked foul.
And he broke his bat on a good inside fastball. And we say good because that fastball was in on his hands off the plate. So you force the hitter. It looks, before the movement, looks like it's going to be over the inside corner. Moves in on his hands. The only thing he can do is foul it off if he makes contact at all.
And that's jump foul. Yeah, getting back to the George Brett scenario, that everybody says, well, George was going to be a great hitter anyway. Well, that's not necessarily so.
George
he was going to be a good hitter.
He didn't have great numbers in the minor leagues. He got better in the major leagues.
It's like Jack Nicklaus and Jack Grout. Jack Grout was Jack Nicklaus's teacher at Scioto in Columbus, Ohio. And everybody said, well, Jack Grout was lucky because he had Jack Nicklaus. Well, it could be that Jack Nicklaus was lucky because he had Jack Grout. And Jack Nicklaus will tell you that. Outfield straight up. Good take.
It was close, but it was off the plate. And Tyler couldn't get to it, so you might as well take it. If the footing isn't too heavy here, this is a good pitch to run because it's probably going to be a breaking ball. And apparently Pino thought it might have been a good pitch to run because he went into his four-corner offense, which is you try to lull the hitter to sleep by not throwing it.
And that has popped up right side of the plate. One-handed. Oh. Wow.
Alejandro was running, but quickly you hear the contact, you pick it up, and then you got to retreat.
So hopefully this will be a two-time around guy, second time around.
I would think they'd have much better shot second time around because they can see he's got a good curveball. He does get it over the plate. He throws at two different speeds. It's not the biggest breaker around, but because he throws it for strikes, it's been effective.
Usually when you haven't seen anybody, as a rule, you look for too much. There goes Alejandro, base hit. So now he's going to make the turn. He'll move into third base on the hit and run. Runners at the corners are one out.
Tried to steal the pitch before, and now the hit and run. And that fastball is up and out of the strike zone, but Adam knows he's got to protect. And Santana was covering, so through the vacated left side, he just punches a little ground ball, putting runners at the corners, and a chance to break through against the 30-year-old making his major league debut.
Oldest in Minnesota Twin history. Gordon struck out his first trip. As I mentioned, first time you face a guy, as a rule, you look for a little too much. Second time around, of course, then you know a little better what you're looking for.
Last 38, Gordon has been pretty good. And the fact is that he scored 21 runs is even better. That means that two guys behind him, Gillespie and Abreu, are knocking him in.
He's got the catbird seat here, 2-0. Three and nothing.
Connor Gillespie in the on deck circle, waiting for the resolution of this at bat.
Just a short lead. And there's ball four. That'll load him up. Taking all the way as he should have been. So the first walk issued by Pino. And with one out, sacks packed. Connor Gillespie.
And it's time for the first trip to the mound. And Rick Anderson goes out there to have a talk with his rookie right-hander. Time now for the AT&T Uverse Multiview. Pretty good speed on the base paths, and Mike Buchlinski goes out there to break it up. And speaking of breaking it up, that'll be the job of Gordon Beckham if Gillespie hits a ground ball. He's got to get a pretty aggressive lead and make sure you get a piece of the pivot man on a ground ball.
Well, he hit a ground ball up the middle first at bat. Dozier made a good play to get it. And this time he's going to pop it up. Santana not going to be able to get there, nor will Willingham. So Gillespie catches a break. And the count 0-1.
Outfield absolutely straight away for Connor.
There's a shot base hit. So here comes Adam from second base.
And Gordon, wow, got tagged out at second. He rounded the bag a little too far. There was no chance at all to allow that throw to come through. Dozier cuts it off and puts the tag on.
But we take a 2-1 lead.
RBI's 24-25 for Connor Gillespie as he takes it right back up the middle. That's a curveball that didn't do a great deal. Well, the 2 runs are going to score. Cole doesn't have that much of an arm, and getting it back in to Dozier, who alertly puts the tag on.
So here's Abreu, struck out his first time. Oh, he got a cookie right there. Pops it up. Get out of here. Get out of here.
Good effort by Dozier, but he can't get to it. San Jose has another life. Struck him out on a high fastball the first time up and went back to the well another time.
Yeah, at sub 90, that is a good pitch to hit. That breaking ball, and the count 0-2. Adam Dunn on deck. And that fastball at 90.
That was his best fastball of the night. And Jose was able to foul it back.
Made a good pitch right there. That fastball in on the 5th.
See where Suzuki wants it. Pino gets it right there.
Outfield straight up, about equidistant. And he swings at the bad breaking ball. But second time around, we come up with a pair and we lead it 2-1.
Against the Phillies, he used 128 pitches. And Clayton Kershaw last night, unbelievable. 15 strikeouts, no walks, only base runner on an error. First time he has thrown a no-hitter. 12 no-hitters in LA Dodger history. 21 in Dodger history. Vin Scully has called 19 of them.
Well, just thinking back on that era with Drysdale and Koufax, those guys, it seems like Koufax had 12. Seemed like almost every time he went out there, he came close or else got one.
I'm surprised he only had 4. To be honest with you,
I am too.
With his stuff,
really I am too. Just when you face that guy, as that is into left field off the bat of Sanford, 1 out, and you face Koufax. It was an experience. It really was.
not a good one.
Well, in a way it was. In a way it was. You know, even though you were, you know, there's certain times and you do certain things. I don't care how good you are or what you do. If there's somebody out there better than you are, I mean, I don't care what it is. You can have all the confidence. You can have all the. And when you faced Sandy Koufax, you knew he was better than you. That's down into the left field corner off the bat of Santana. So he will pull up at second with the 1-out double. That's the third hit given up by Quintana.
Santana got his opportunity because Pedro Florimon couldn't hit at all. He was a good defender who just couldn't swing the bat. And they went down from their minor leagues and brought up Santana. There's not much he can't do. He can swing the bat from both sides of the plate, plays a terrific defense, and along with Dozier, this is one of the better double play combinations around. And at just 23, you can see the way he swung the bat there, where they would really like him.
That's his 7th double. And he is 6 for 6 in stolen bases. Minnesota with 40 stolen bases and 53 attempts. Dozier walked his first trip. This guy's dangerous. And Sox fans watching our games with Minnesota the last couple of seasons know that he has just been getting better and better.
If you want to stay away from Dozier, that's a pretty good thing. If you go in, you better go in deep. Go in off the plate, because he is awfully strong.
Two balls, one strike, one out, 1-0. Bottom of the third. 2-1 Sox. And a good pitch. Right on the inside corner.
And Dozier thought it was inside because he was looking away. And even if you lift up your arms, this is a pretty good pitch.
He gone.
And
Two down.
That was a good pitch. Set him up with a fastball inside, then goes with a fastball away. Tyler wants it out there. Jose gets it out there, and it had the whole plate.
5 strikeouts now for Quintana. Bauer hit into a 6-4-3 double play his first trip. Breaking ball, no.
Well, this is where you figure Joe's got to get a good pitch. There's no way he wants to get to Willingham. And if he doesn't get Joe, there's no place to put Willingham. So that should play into the thought process for Jose Quintana.
Well, that's where this is a rock and hard place, because Mauer is 7 for 16 with a couple of homers off of him himself. But that was then.
Yeah, this is
and
now.
This is now.
It's a different Joe. Not that he can't drive in runs, but with runners in scoring position, hitting a paltry 154.
And if you're just getting home, tuning in and wondering why we're just in the bottom of the third, we had a 2-hour and 6-minute weather delay. And there for a while, it looked like the cow on the flat rock.
Well, that cell moved through. As they said, there would be a window, and there has been. Mauer, over the course of his career, is at 326 with runners in scoring position. So this year is the aberration.
Poked in the left field. Come on. No, he can't get there. So this game is tied at 2.
RBI number 17 for Joe Mauer. He just reaches out, goes down, gets a slider out of the zone, and drops it in front of Diaz.
There's Willingham. He hit a bomb out of here. I mean, high tower.
That was a no-doubt blast. Tyler Flowers wanted inside, and Jose didn't get it there. And sound it makes when it leaves the bat. Some pitchers don't even bother looking. They know it's going to be gone.
That's first row back over the dugout. And just checking my iPad radar here on this window. As my buddies on the road would say, it's clean and green.
But once you start playing, you want to get it in. A couple of years ago, Willingham at 35 home runs drove in 110. That was in 2012, but then had severe knee difficulties. And over the last couple of years, it's really helped do him in.
Change up, low and away. 2 out, 2 balls, 2 strikes, and a 2-2 tie here in the 3rd inning. Another change up. Will he triple him up?
Well, you got a dead pull hitter up. And a fastball low and away would probably yield that ground ball to the left side if he keeps it down.
Get foul. Get foul. It will. Yes.
Well, that was anything but low and away. That was
wheelhouse.
Belt high on the inside part of the plate, and Willingham hits it a mile.
Boy, that is really close to being like a Harmon Killebrew finish right there. Keeping the bat in front of you. Ball here in the center field. We got a man there. But they come up with one on Mauer's RBI single. We'll go to the 4th, tied at 2.
Chicago fan photo for a chance to have it shown on our broadcast later in the game. And as always, it's brought to you by AT&T.
Top of the fourth in this 2-2 tie. Adam Dunn 0 for 1. Next curveball strike. Adam hit a major league pop up to Dozier at second base. Way out front, off balance.
And after the rains came through, the winds almost non-existent. Over the last 11, Adams can swing the bat pretty well.
Adam with a huge 3-run homer yesterday in the 5th inning. Sox held on to win that ball game 7-6.
Really put a pounding on a guy that had a magnificent year in Tim Hudson. It was really his first bad ball game. Tied for 35th with Carl Yastrzemski. That home run yesterday.
That's in the right field. Parmalee. Sox fans, come out to the ballpark for Italian Heritage Night on Friday, July 18th. The Sox are offering specially priced tickets to everyone with Italian Heritage, their family and friends, starting at $10 for lower level seats. To purchase, visit whitesox.com/Italy. Here's Alexei, picked up our first hit of the double in the 2nd inning.
That got a piece of Mike Muchlinski, and Kurt Suzuki is trying to help him up. In the meantime, he's still down. And got him right off the center of the mask. It so often happens, it's just kind of baseball etiquette that when an umpire needs some assistance, the home team trainer is the one to go out there and talk with him.
Well, we're seeing more and more from, I don't know what the numbers would tell you, but we're seeing, it seems like more and more hard shots off the mask of catchers and umpires.
Well, for the most part, catchers are the guys, for whatever reason, that wind up with the concussions. Not that umpires don't get hit as much, because they do. They just don't seem to get concussed. Looking at his mask to make sure it's still in one piece.
So he says he's okay. Alexei steps back in. Outfield straight up. About equal distance. About equal distance. And their positioning. Out and around that one.
The 60 pitch mark with one out here in the 4th inning.
And the 1-2 pitch. Fly ball into right center. Stand full. That's in front of Parmalee. Makes the catch.
That's exactly what has to happen because the center fielder is the captain. And even though Parmalee was there, you got to take control. You got to communicate. He's got to hear your voice, and then you've got to come over and take it. And that's exactly what happened.
Here's Tank. Takes curveball strike. He popped up to Dozier. And there's a two-hopper. Escobar. 1-2-3 inning. We go to the bottom of the fourth. 2-2.
Live on CSNChicago.com, brought to you by Comcast Business Class. And once again, they're out talking with Mike Muchlinski. See if he is okay to continue. The trainer came out once again. And he appears to be okay.
So for the Twinkies here in their half of the fourth, it'll be Morales, Suzuki, and Parmalee. Outfield. Adam Eaton, a couple of steps over towards Viciato in right, gap out there in left center. First pitch strike to Morales. And for those of you who don't know what happened to Morales when he was with the Angels, hit a home run, walk off, came around, jumped up, and when he came down trying to hit home plate, dislocated his ankle. And that has turned out to be a very costly injury.
He was one of the offensive stars of the Angels. There's a very good chance that he'd been there a long time. And after all that damage he did, he had to start moving on. Played in Seattle as a free agent for a long time this year, finally signing a deal with Minnesota.
Ate him up. Alexei. One down. And Sox fans, join us on Saturday, July 5th at 1:10 as our Sox take on the Mariners. Also, the first 10,000 kids ages 13 and under will receive a White Sox kids jersey presented by Aquafina. So for tickets, call 866-SOX-GAME or visit whitesox.com. Kurt Suzuki had a 10-pitch at bat back in the second inning before doubling into left center. Checking some scores for you. Anibal Sanchez and the Tigers beat Kansas City and Danny Duffy 2-1. Danny Duffy 4-6 with a 2.80 ERA.
They thought he was going to be good, and then he hurt himself pitching against our ball club. Just now coming back and realizing the potential that they knew he had.
And Cleveland, bottom of the 10th, got a grand slam home run. Nick Swisher beat the Angels 5-3 at Jacobs Field, Progressive Field. After 5 at the Coliseum, Oakland shutting out Boston 3-0. Peavy on the bump for the Carmines. Final in 12 innings. At PNC, Pirates beat Cincinnati 4-3. Milwaukee over the D-backs and Phoenix 4-1. D-backs now 31-45.
Not a real good year. Tony La Russa has his hands full, but I expect that he'll get it done.
He will. He'll turn it around. That's high in the right field. Tank. 2 down. Atlanta shuts out Washington 3-0. Gavin Floyd 2-2 the winner. Zimmerman 5-4 the loser. Kimbrel is 21st save. And of course, if you did not hear, Gavin Floyd broke his right elbow. Yankees beat Toronto 6-4 in the Bronx. Phelps over Hutchison. Tampa Bay shuts out Houston 5-0 down in St. Pete. Phillies beat the Cardinals 4-1 in St. Louis. There's a strike to Parmalee. And the Mets shut out the Marlins 1-0 down in Florida. And Giancarlo Stanton was in that lineup. Ball hit hard into left center, and it's going to be in there. So Parmalee, the 2-out double. That's his first double of the season.
Parmalee gets a low fastball and drives it in the gap. So that keeps Heaney alive. His last double September 24th of last year.
So they have 3 doubles, a homer in their 5 hits. And here is Escobar struck out on a curveball. That ball hit hard, but we got a man there, and his name is Adam Eaton. That'll retire the side. We're into the 5th, tied at 2. 6:10 as our Sox take on Robinson Cano and the Mariners. First 20,000 fans ages 21 and over will receive a White Sox tailgate flag presented by Miller Lite. Also enjoy our Independence Day celebrations and post-game fireworks presented by Miller Lite. Because it's not just a good time, it's Miller time. Miller Lite, official beer of your Chicago White Sox. So WhiteSox.com or 866-SOX game for tickets.
There's going to be a bit of a delay because it appears Mike Muchlinski is not feeling well after getting hit in the mask, and there's going to be a change. As you can see, Mike is going to take the gear off. We're going to swap it out, and in the meantime, the entire infield has departed into the dugout.
Well, this is the first of a 4-game set here and the first of an 11-game road trip. 4 here, 3 in Baltimore, and then we'll finish it off with 4 against the Blue Jays, who were just swept by the Yankees in the Bronx in that series. They concluded today. And there are pitching prospects tomorrow.
Pitching for the Twins lately has been outstanding. Their problem has been generating some runs. It hasn't been the starting rotation's problem. And when Glenn Perkins is right, he's one of the best closers around, but he's had a bad back. And it was if he was going to be able to go tonight. We still won't know until we get into the late innings. Perkins is our closer, and he's a very good one. You don't find too many left-handed closers around, but Perkins, with a 2.76 ERA, he's got 17 saves and 39 strikeouts and just 5 walks in 29 in the 3rd innings. But when you have back problems, that makes it horribly difficult to ply your trade. And that's why Casey Fiend was closing, and that's why they had so many problems in Boston wrapping one up. There you look at where we stand at 2-2. And so as Ron Gardner talks it over, we'll step out and be back after these messages.
Up 3 down inning. Mazda will make a donation to White Sox charities. They aid the fight against hunger in the Chicagoland area. It's brought to you by Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Mazda dealers. So purchase your tickets today by visiting WhiteSox.com or calling 866-SOX game.
We have Mark Wegner taking over behind the plate. He was the first base umpire, and so now they'll work with 3, which means they're going to do a whole lot more shifting. Of course, they practice this. It's like a coordinated team. You lose a member and there'll be no problems. They'll still get good coverage.
Johan Pino taking his warm-up tosses. He will face Diasa, Flowers, and then back to the top of the order with Adam Eaton.
So far you'd have to say that the man who took 11 years getting to the major leagues has done a fairly decent job through 4 innings. He's given up just 4 hits, walked only 1, and fanned 4. Not too bad. There you look at the numbers. And I don't think Ron Gardner could have asked for too much more than that. All he's asking now is a couple more innings.
So here's Diaz. Alejandro singled in the left field, leading off the 3rd. First pitch strike. Outfield, for the most part, straight up. That ball hit hard. And no catch. No catch. Andy Fletcher.
We'll take another look at it as Parmalee comes over. He did not catch it. And a good call. Pino thought it was caught. But it's the second hit of the night for Diaz.
And here's Tyler. He fouled out to his counterpart, Kurt Suzuki. Alejandro 8 for 12 in stolen bases. Just has a short lead. Tyler got a cookie right there and fouls it back. Got a hanger and missed it. Totals on the board identical at 2-5 and 0. That ball hit deep. Stretch way back. He's there right in front of the fence. Sam Foles. And that's a hang whoop'em for Tyler Flowers.
Not too many ballparks in the American League going to hold that one, but unfortunately this one does. Tyler got a hanging curveball and hit it a long way. But he hit it just about to the 411 mark.
So here's Adam. He is 1 for 2 with a run scored.
Last time up they used the hit and run. And Adam poked it through the vacated left side.
Takes that one up high. Just checking out the standings in central Kansas City, losing that close one today, 2-1 to Detroit. They're in first place by half a game over the Tigers. Cleveland 2.5 back. Our guys 4 games back, followed by the Twins at 6 games behind. Now time is called. Toronto being swept in New York has seen their lead shrink to a game and a half over the Yankees. 2.5 over Baltimore, where we're going after this 4-game set. 6 over Boston and 12 over Tampa Bay. Two 2-0 to Adam. Oakland has a chance, if they win their ball game against the Red Sox, they were leading 3-0, to go 6 up on the Angels.
Boston is closed to within 3-2. So that game heads into the bottom of the 6th. Jake Peavy on the hill.
There he goes. Ball gets away from Suzuki. So it'll be a stolen base. Number 9 for Alejandro.
Suzuki just misses it. Might have had a shot, but we'll never know.
Three and 1 to count. And that's popped up left side. Get out of here, it will. Just over our dugout.
Pretty good numbers with runners in scoring position, especially lately. For Adam Eaton, he's got 20 runs driven in.
And a payoff pitch. Pulled the string on him and fooled him.
Second time the rookie has fanned Adam Eaton. Probably the best straight change he's thrown tonight.
That's 5 strikeouts for Pino. Here's Gordon. Gordon has struck out and walked and popped up. Suzuki, one-handed catch again. We're halfway home, tied at 2. Bottom of the 5th inning. It'll be Fold, then back to the top of the order with Santana and Dozier. First pitch strike.
Still have to take the bunt away from Sam Fold. With that in mind, Gillespie is in on the grass at third. And Abreu even with the bag at first.
0-2 to count. When Sam Fold was in that Tampa Bay uniform, he made some spectacular plays against us.
He had some great moments with the Rays. But back to the first time we saw these guys, the opening series, Aaron Hicks had a terrific series, former #1 draft pick, and everybody felt that he was finally ready to come alive. He got off to a terrific start, but then just stopped hitting entirely, and now he's on the disabled list.
That's into left center field. 1 out.
When Hicks went on the DL, he was hitting 198. That was a guy that allowed them to trade Denard Span, Ben Revere, clearing the way for Hicks, but he's never been able to take the position over full time.
Here's Danny Santana, switch hitting shortstop, has struck out. He has doubled and he has scored. And he is 0-1 in the count. There's a chopper, 3-hopper. 2 down. And for those of you who are just getting home, finding out we're in the bottom of the 5th, we had that 2-hour, 6-minute rain delay. Weather. And during that, a lot of that 2-hour delay, it was really raining hard. Here's Dozier walking a strikeout. That ball's hit hard. Off the wall. And the throw. Good throw by Piazza. Meanwhile, the 2-out double by Dozier. We're lucky that ball stayed in the yard.
Dozier has just gotten better and better, and with 2 out, nobody on, he'd think about hitting the ball out of the ballpark, and came very close to doing it. This fastball was right down the middle. It was up. Dozier hit it off the bottom part of the wall, and Alejandro made a good play, getting the ball back in and making it at least close at second base.
So here's Mauer. He's 1 for 2 with an RBI. He had this scenario, only it was Santana at second with 2 out, back in the 3rd. Mauer now 8 for 17 lifetime off Quintana with a couple of homers. And the guy on deck is 9 for 17 lifetime off Quintana.
With a home run tonight and a just missed bomb.
And a 3-spot home run wise off Jose. There's a strike. Right at the bottom of the zone. 1-1 to count. 31-year-old veteran. Good rip, just a shade tardy. So it's 2-2. they want to do right here with him. He gone. A beauty, low in the end. So we're into the sixth, still tied at 2. Top of the 6th inning. Gillespie, Abreu, and Adam Dunn face Johan Pino, 30-year-old right-hander.
Well, he's already changed a little something the third time through the order. He started to use the straight change, which he wasn't using too much early.
That breaking ball right at the top of the zone. 1-0. Connor with that 2-run single back in the 3rd inning. Now has 25 RBIs. That ball hit deep into center field, but Sam Folk is there.
Tonight after the game, don't miss Sportsnet Central presented by CLR. We'll have sights and sounds as the Bears wrap up minicamp, plus World Cup highlights and all the scoring from that classic encounter between Greece and Japan that ended 0-0. See all that and more on Sportsnet Central tonight after the game, only on Comcast Sportsnet.
That's fouled down by Abreu, who's 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. Got him on a fastball the first time up, and curveball the second time. Breaking ball, just waves at it. Power. And that's out number 2.
Joe went way wide of the bag. That was a very easy play for Dozier, but that's why you have to break to the right side on anything hit to the right side. You just never know if your first baseman is going to go back to the bag or go and get it, like what Mauer did.
So the shift is on for Adam. Adam has popped the second, gone out to right. Big motion. Slow curve. 0-1. First of 4 here in Minneapolis. And first of 11 on this 3-city trip. 4 here, 3 in Baltimore, and 4 in Toronto. And that fastball fouled back. So very quickly to count 0-2. Schedule tomorrow, Tigers will leave home and they will go to Progressive Field, take on the Indians. That's outside. Kansas City is going to be at home against Seattle. Baltimore is going to be taking on the Yankees in the Bronx. And Toronto will be in Cincinnati at the Great American Ballpark. That ball high into right field. You're talking about I just missed him. There it was. Meanwhile, 1-2-3 inning. That 6 in a row retired. Pino.
Photo of the game. Tweet your photo to hashtag #ChicagoFanPhoto for a chance to be shown on our broadcast. Brought to you by AT&T.
Josh Willingham, Henry Morales, and Kurt Suzuki here in the Minnesota half of the 6th inning. Willingham 1 for 2, a long home run. Then he just missed hitting another Titanic home run, just foul. Then he went out deep to center field. So he has been all over Quintana. Takes a curveball strike.
And they're giving him the entire right side to hit it through with the shift.
Ball hit hard. 1 out. Well, he's all over him.
Yeah, that's a guy that you want to pitch around if you're Jose the next time he comes up, assuming that you have some place to pitch around him.
Here's Morales, a strikeout and a pop up to short. Takes first pitch strike. And the shift on for Kendry as well. Kendry out of Fomento in Cuba has popped up. Tank. 2 down.
Both of these starting pitchers doing a pretty good job tonight.
Suzuki has doubled and he has gone out to Viciato. Yeah, when you get to the 6th inning, the American League, only 4 runs. Given up, that's a pretty good job.
Especially for a major league debut, the part of Pino, and intended coming back and having his best outing of the last 4 or 5 starts.
Alexei got him. And a quick, nice 1-2-3 inning. We go to the 7th.
It's the strikeouts for both starting pitchers. Jose has done a pretty good job with the changeup, the fastball, and the other high fastball. And Johan Pino with a changeup, his curveball, and a few well-placed fastballs himself. And that's why the game is a 2-2. There are the lines, and they are almost identical. One a mainstay in the starting rotation, and the other his major league debut.
Here's Alexei. Takes first pitch strike. Alexei doubled and then went out to center field. Out and around it.
I think that was Robin making a pretty good catch on a one hopper in the dugout and making some friends behind the dugout.
Sweeper, 1 out. Six strikeouts now. And you can join us at the ballpark for our hashtag Sox Social Nights. Get access to unique social media contests and special giveaways by purchasing Sox Social tickets. So visit whitesox.com/Sox Social today.
The guy with the fastball that's right around 88 miles an hour. Occasionally he's got it up there to 90, but he's using the high fastball very well.
Well, something. He figured out something to be 9-1 with a 1.92. at Rochester in AAA. So that might be it. It might be he's learning how to pitch up.
He's got a good
slow,
enough,
low, and hard high.
He's got a good enough breaking ball to probably be successful. I assume that the control wasn't what we're seeing here tonight, because he's had very good control of everything tonight.
That's one of the reasons I've learned in my career in this game. You don't write guys off quickly. Give them a chance. And usually they'll make that decision for you. As he gets him, that on 88-mile-an-hour fastball.
And another high fastball at the top of the zone. When I talked to Ron Gardner before the game, he told me that he was under the weather. He's got whatever it is that is sweeping the clubhouse of the Twins. But this performance by Pino has got to make him feel a whole lot better. There's a look at Gardy. Good manager. He's been here for a long time, and Twins have been a very good team under him. However, the last couple of years they've really struggled.
Well, you're not going to go through the injuries that they went through and not struggle. That ball hit in the left field. Willingham giving some ground, but he's there. Makes the catch. And that is 9 in a row retired. We're at the 7th inning stretch, tied at 2. Tied at 2. It will be the lower third of their order. Parmalee, Escobar, and Sam Fuld. Chris Parmalee has struck out and doubled. That was his first double of the season. Outfield straight up. And flips a little breaking ball strike.
Pretty good idea, but did not get the call. That one just missed inside. Looks a whole lot better after a good solid breaking ball away.
2-1 to count.
Jake Petrichka loosening up in the pen as Jose is at the 101 pitch mark. He piled up a whole lot of pitches in the second inning.
Another little soft breaking ball.
Casey Fiend loosening up in the pen.
He apparently is going to be coming on for Pino.
Pino got a lot of hugs, a lot of pats on the back, a lot of high fives in the dugout.
Yeah, they got a lot of love.
As you would expect.
Pretty good pitch, didn't get it right there. Just getting home, we had a 2-hour and 6-minute rain delay. Weather delay. High pop up. Gillespie. So 1 out. Woke up this morning to some thunder and lightning. Wow. Ugly.
Rained hard most of the day. Then it went away for about a couple hours, I would assume. By the time it came back, however, it stayed here for a bit.
Yeah, I went to get some lunch. It was pouring. And it took me a long time to get lunch. And there it hit 2. Alexei so quickly 2 out. And then by the time I got through, it was beautiful out there.
Got pretty nice here for a while.
So here's the center fielder Sam Fuld, who has gone out to left and gone out to center. That got both of them, I think.
Got a good piece of Tyler, I know that. And I think
Wegner got
Tyler got Wegner too.
He got the donkey end of it.
Yes, he did. Ooh, that'll shake you up.
Well, Tyler in that category of being a big catcher, he's going to get hit a lot. Jammed himself right there. And that was nice. That's 7 in a row retired by Quintana, and we're into the 8th.
And visit the dugouts and much more. So join us for Family Field Day on June 21st and support White Sox charities. To purchase tickets, visit whitesoxcharities.org. That'll bring in Casey Fiend. Casey comes into this one for the 32nd time. He's 3-4, fine ERA of 2.76. And as you can see, right-handers have done absolutely nothing with him. Jose's done a terrific job. You would think that might be it, but if he's feeling good, I might run him out again against the top of the order in the bottom of the 8th inning. But first things first.
Tyler Flowers has fouled out to his counterpart Suzuki and going out very deep to center field, taking Sam Fuld up against the fence. Can't get it.
A performance by Johan Pino. 7 innings, 2 runs, 5 hits, 1 walk, and 7 strikeouts.
A nice major league debut for the 30-year-old. And very quickly to count 0-2.
Caleb Thielbar loosening up in the pen.
So after that outing yesterday by Casey Fiend, Gardner wanted to get him right back out there.
Well, it appears to be a good idea as he paints the corner at 94.
And by that performance, throwing back-to-back home runs in the bottom of the 10th inning to Ortiz and Napoli to lose it 2-1.
If you can't close, if you don't close, it's the toughest job in the world.
The bunt, the quick throw, good play. Good play by Suzuki.
Suzuki has always been a very athletic catcher. A guy that can move well to either side. And here he takes a good bunt, and this is a good bunt, and turns it into an out. And as you can see, Joe Mauer stretching into fair territory to give Suzuki the angle. And a good play on both ends. And a good bunt that went for naught.
Well, we talked about it earlier. Twins for the last 25 years. As that ball hit, this did not take long. 1, 2, 3, and we'll go to the bottom of the 8th.
Bottom of the 8th inning with a new pitcher. Jake Petrichka comes into this one. On for the 30th time, he's 0-1 with an ERA of 1.96. Guys just don't hit him very well, especially right-handers, and he's got to face the top of the order in a game that has an almost identical line. So Quintana was brilliant, 7 innings, a couple of runs on 6 hits, walked only 1, that coming in the first inning, and fanned 6. And he's going to leave with yet another no decision.
Santana, Dozier, and Mauer. But we were talking about the Minnesota Twins, and if you took a line and you drew it from our right side of that pitcher's mound over to first, and then from our left side of that the slab, I should say, over to third, and then you take that area, it's like a triangle, you take that area and to the right side of the mound, left side of the mound, out in front of the mound. The majority of games that are lost in that area, right in that area right there in that triangle. And that's where Minnesota in the last 25 or 30 years really have worked hard, very hard, each and every spring. So first pitch to Santana. Well, we saw a World Series lost in that area.
That wasn't the only one.
No, a bunch of them. Well, there's a majority of games that's where they're lost, when they're lost. And there are a lot of games, most games are lost rather than won.
Danny Santana will turn around and hit from the left side for the first time.
He has doubled and scored. He's 1 for 3.
This wouldn't be a particularly good guy to walk, as he's one of their best base stealers.
Well, they've got a pretty good percentage as a team. As there's a chopper, base hit right through the middle. So he's 6 for 6 in that category, and they're 40 for 53 in stolen bases.
Santana with his second hit of the night, so he's got 1 from both sides. He represents a go-ahead run.
Dozier has walked, struck out, and doubled. He hit a rocket off the bottom of that left field fence. $15 homers, 35 knocked in for this 27-year-old. And they had a little vignette up on the scoreboard during that delay of Dozier with a Rubik's Cube. And he got it done in about 1 minute and 35 seconds.
I would say that's pretty good.
I don't know what the world's record is. It's not. I don't think the world's record is much better than that.
He's taking a long look down at Joe Vavra, the third base coach, who once upon a time was their hitting coach. Now that belongs to Tom Brunansky.
There's a strike. Talking about that Rubik's Cube, I'm still working on my box score. That's going to take a little longer than 35 seconds.
Yeah, I would think so. I have one. I keep looking at it, and
you're putting it back that way.
It could be in just about any language. It's in English, but you'd never know it.
And another one. So 1 and 2. What we're talking about is box score. We mentioned one of our past telecasts that Gene Mock could tell you what went on in a ball game by reading the box score. And he never would tell me. He promised the guy who told him that he would never tell anybody. And Gene Mock was a noted tactician, so to speak, in the game of baseball, and noted to have a great baseball mind. So I said on the air, I said something that caused Steve to say, well, I don't think how can they do that?
No, I think they could. I just don't know how. And after looking at it, I still don't know how.
So I get back home, and one of my buddies said, I can do it. I did it. And I said, what? And he showed me. Now he gave me one to figure out how to do it.
Oh, my.
Yeah, that is foul back.
Well, Santana's thinking about going. This would be the pitch. But nobody has gone yet. That's largely because Quintana was keeping him close. Now you get a right-hander on the mound.
He's not going, and there's a base hit. So we got a problem. First of this 4-game set. A 2-2 tie here in the bottom of the 8th, and they got runners at the corners and nobody out.
Pretty good piece of hitting by Dozier. He knows this one is too close to take. He bounces it through the right side. That's his second hit, so he's 2 for 3.
That's an indication of how much he has progressed. He knows the situation. It's a 2-2 count. He knows what the score is, of course. He knows who's on first base. He gave up all ideas of trying to hit that ball hard.
Well, this is a guy.
That's maturity.
70 games, he's made 5 errors. He's stolen 15 bases. And he's hit 15 homers. It's not bad.
So the infield in. And Dozier, good chance he's going to be going somewhere in this sequence. Goes 15 for 19. And the infield in. Some managers don't like to run in this situation because you don't want to run yourself into a double play, a line drive double play, or a bad base running double play. There's the strike. 0-2 the count. All right. You got the easy part done now. You got a hit. But now the hard part is putting him away.
Now you try to strike him out of the strike zone. He was a strikeout victim in the 5th. That was his 53rd of the year.
Tyler, keep in front of you. So the count 2-2. Josh Willingham on deck.
There was a time when Mauer would go full season striking out 50, 60 times. He's going to pass 100 this year. For him, that's kind of rare.
And a full count had him 0-2. As I mentioned, that's the easy part. Putting him away is the tough part.
Got Carroll loosening up. Bauer has 2 sacrifice flies this year, and this the biggest pitch of the ball game to date.
Fair. So they take a 3-2 lead, but Ducks on the pond. Still nobody out.
Second run batted in of the night. Just the 18th this year. Now it looked like he took an off-speed pitch and just hooked it the other way. He's in full protection mode. That was a slider. It was supposed to be low and in. You see where Tyler wants it, and you see where the ball is. It didn't do much, and it stayed away from Mauer. His strength has always been hitting to the opposite field. And the Twins have taken the lead.
All right. Infield's still in, and here's Willingham, who has homered. He's 1 for 3. He swung the bat a lot better than 1 for 3. Take strike one. He was all over Quintana tonight.
Runners in scoring position in a limited sampling of just 21 at bats. Willingham has been the best on the ball club in that department.
And the count 0-2. And for our guys in the top of the ninth, we got the right guys. We got Gillespie, Abreu, Dunn, Alexei, Viciado. Now the first two guys leading off this inning, Santana and Dozier, set this thing up with this good situational hitting. Tie ball game, bottom of the 8th. Just put it in play. See if you can find the hole. Don't try to do too much with it. And they both did exactly that. He gone. Big out.
He takes a little something off and throws it by him upstairs, and now they're going to, I believe, they're walking Morales. I would think so. Yep. To put him on, take their chances with another clutch hitter, Kurt Suzuki.
At least he has been against us.
And Glenn Perkins, their closer, answering the question of, is his back sound enough to come in the ball game, because he's throwing.
So Sox packed with Twinkies. And here comes Coop.
Suzuki doesn't have much speed, so you can afford to play a little deeper in the middle infield. And still turn a pair on a ground ball.
Suzuki a double, a pop up to right, and a ground out to short. As he takes first pitch strike. One at 92.
Dozier with good speed. Morales with no speed.
to go in there. You got to be a little bit careful because he is not above taking one for the flow.
And he came very close on the last pitch. He's been hit 4 times this year, and that's tied for the lead on the ball club.
All right. Here comes the runner. Here comes the throw. And it's a 4-2 Twin lead. Suzuki gets the job done.
A situation where you got a guy who's only fanned 18 times this year and 200 at bats. He figures he's going to get the bat on the ball, and turns into run batted in number 31.
So here's Parmalee.
Pedro Florimon comes on to pinch run.
Parmalee is 1 for 3 with a 4th inning double. That ball hit deep in the left field. Yeah, so he's there. But they come up with a pair. We'll go to the bottom of the 9th in trouble. We trail it 4-2.
In the game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite, and here's our Miller moment, and it's one of the heroes of tonight's game, Joe Mauer. His second run batted in, this double. Plated the go-ahead run. They went on to score one more, and their closer, Glenn Perkins, comes in the ball game. On for the 30th time. 17 for 19 in save situations, and he's been awfully tough.
So here we go. Gillespie, Abreu, Dunn, Ramirez, Viciado, and hopefully a couple more. Gillespie is 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs, that 2-run single back in the 3rd inning. We've only stranded 3 guys in this game, so it's not like we've been threatening all night.
No. A 30-year-old first-time starter did a phenomenal job. Johan Pinto, 7 innings, only 2 runs.
Don't help him out.
Well, coming off a bad back, you never really know if it is 100%. And if it's not, you have a hard time bending over. A lot of pitchers will stay up.
Full count. And another souvenir left side. 31,195. Tickets sold, not fannies and seats. Two-hour and 6-minute rain delay. So he comes back from the 3-0 count. 1 down. And of course the Twins trying to break a 5-game losing streak. That's the longest of the season. Jose, souvenir right side.
Perkins was a starter most of his career and never really threw all that hard. He's a good left-handed pitcher. But they decided to take a gamble, move him into the bullpen. And it has truly paid off. Perkins has found another way to do it. And he does it well. 36 saves last year and a .230 ERA in 61 games.
There's a little shank in the right field for a base hit. So that's a start. Tying run comes to the plate. The only problem is Adam has faced Perkins 9 times and he's 0 for 9. But he's due. Come on, Adam.
It's another fastball that stayed up. Adam had a good cut but fouled it straight back.
Come on, Adam. You're due, buddy, against this guy. Over 9 at bats. He has 6 strikeouts.
That last pitch was an unhittable slider. Looks like Suzuki wants it there again. What with the fastball?
Good eye. Post pitch.
This just off the corner, but it was off the corner. A lot of guys will ring you up. Mark Wegner did not, and Perkins wanted it, but it was not a strike.
Two down. So here's Alexei. He's 8 for 25 lifetime against Perkins. 4 doubles and a home. Come on, Alexei. One time, buddy. Jacks it up and he takes first pitch strike at 92. So Mark Burley look-alike. Perkins. Breaking ball, no. Change up out in front. Change up at 83. That's up the middle, and this ball game is over. So we take a 2-1 lead going to the bottom of the 3rd inning and cannot do anything else. And it was just, well, Quintana pitched well, as did Pino.
I thought Quintana threw very well, and that's a good sign because he's been struggling lately. He got the ball over the plate and had good stuff. Unfortunately, kept to Minnesota in a rain-delayed extravaganza and wind up on the short side.
Let's check out our GMC professional grade player of the game. It is the 30-year-old rookie, Johan Pino. 7 innings, giving up 2 runs, 5 hits, 1 walk, and 7 strikeouts. Our GMC professional player grade of the game. Player of the game. So for my partner, Steve Stone, our director Jim Angio, our producer Mike Leary, our associate producer Dave Fox, our technical manager Mark Harper, for the mayor Mean Joe Booth, also for the executive producer Jim Coney Jr. and Teresa Day, Jim Petros, Chris Trudeau, Brad Simon. This is a Hawk. Coming up next, Sportsnet Central presented by CLR. White Sox baseball right here on Comcast.